The menu that we're doing, we're doing a delicious chorizo-flavored potato parsnip soup that we're going to be serving, but it can be served cold, it can be served hot, or it could be served at room temperature. It's definitely very good for the summer. In addition to that, I'm going to show you how to make some fettuccine or egg pastas, some tagliatelle that we're going to be making. I'm going to show you a very easy way to make that. And then we're also doing a delicious shrimp, spicy shrimp to go with this this item as well, and it's all with a little sweetness to it. It's really nice. So that's how we're turning winter into summer today on Let's Cook. We're going to take a little break right now, and but as we go to break, I'm going to show you how lovely this soup looks. So don't go anywhere. It's winter made summer today on Let's Cook. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Let's Cook, where now we're going to make this delicious parsnip potato soup flavored with chorizo. Right here I have some boiling water, and this is such a simple summer soup because we just take a little bit of onion here, and you can actually rough chop the onion. So we'll just take the onion, I'll cut it across this way, I'll take my knife, I go about 3 times this way through, turn it this way, cut the onion down. So the onion goes right into the pot. This goes right into the pot. I'll put the onion in there first just to cook off a little bit of the bitterness of the onion. In addition to that, we have some parsnip. Now this parsnip has been washed. Let's just look at the inside of this parsnip here. First of all, it looks like a white carrot. And if you wash the outside very well, you don't even have to remove that because that has a lot of the vitamins and a lot of the flavor of the parsnip. The inside is a little more bitter. So we'll just take this and we're going to cut this into just little round pieces, just like this. Now these round pieces, you might not know this, but this is called a rondelle. That's what this actual cut is. It's a nice rondelle. So we'll just put a little bit of the parsnip in there, let that start to simmer. We also need some potato. Just take our potato, we're going to peel the potato here. And again, I'm not even going to wash this potato. I've washed it before. I'm just going to peel the skin away. And we're just also going to just dice up the potato. And I'll show you an easy way to dice up the potato too. So, because a lot of times when you're working in the kitchen, if you have some knife skills or you work on developing your knife skills, everything just gets a little bit easier. And then when you go to somebody's house for a party and you know how to work with a knife, they're so impressed. So just cut the potato down this way. There's a lot of starch in the potato, and that's why the potato, when I cut into it this way, the potato will always stick to it that way. Just pull it through, it won't stick at all. Take this little bit of the end off here, we don't want that. Then we just do a rough chop on this too. Drop the potato into the soup. In addition to that, I have some bay leaf and thyme I'm putting in there. I also have some chorizo sausage, or chorizo. Very spicy, very delicious. And all I'm going to do with this to flavor the soup is I'm just going to cut this down into 4 equal pieces like this. We just simply drop this right into the soup. We put a lid on the soup. Oh, one other thing, of course, a little bit of salt in here and a little bit of pepper. Now the only fat in this soup is actually coming from whatever comes out of the sausage. And that's the only fat in the soup. So it's very good for you, very healthy for you. If you wanted to use vegetable stock, you could use that instead. Now, right here in this pan right here, I already have some that's done. And you can see how it's reduced a little bit, and it's also taken on a little bit of color here. So what we'll do now is we simply take our soup now. Got a pair of tongs here. We're going to remove the sausage. We're not going to puree the sausage. The sausage is more of a garnish for the soup. So we'll remove this here. Make sure you remove that bay leaf. Also, don't need the bay leaf. And a sprig of thyme. If you don't have, by the way, a lot of times when I cook I use fresh thyme. If you don't have fresh thyme and using dry thyme, the powdered is extremely potent and it gets stale quickly. I would stick with the fresh whole leaf thyme, or you can even make your own. You can buy it when it's on sale in the supermarket, or they have the large bunches there. Hang it on a string in your kitchen, let it dry out, and then over parchment paper, just rub it together and you're going to get terrific thyme. So now we're just going to take our soup now. We're going to puree it. When you use a blender like this and you're putting the soup in, it's very important that you don't go more than halfway up the blender when you first start it. And I think I'm going to go exactly, about halfway up. I'm going a little over halfway, but that's okay. Then when you put this on, take a towel. Put the towel over top of it. This way that if it does splash up, the towel is going to prevent it from burning you, especially if it's hot. So we'll start it on a slow speed like this. See where it is right there? Bring it up to high speed. Smells out of this world. Now, show you just how nice this soup looks, because we have the perfect consistency with this soup. As a matter of fact, when I take and I pour it in a bowl right here, look at that beautiful consistency of that soup. No cream, no fat. Then with the chorizo, what we do with the chorizo is we then take our chorizo here and you dice it up. And this becomes a garnish in the soup, so that when you're eating the soup, you get to taste, and you have that wonderful chorizo there that you're going to taste with. And then we'll just take a little bit of, let's say, some nice flat leaf parsley here for a garnish, and a little bit of chopped parsley or chopped chives, anything at all will go real well in this soup. And that's a delicious summer soup that could be a winter soup as well, but we're calling it winter made summer. So this is a winter soup that you can serve in the summer. Not going to be too heavy. Going to have a nice bite to it because of the parsnip and the chorizo. Let's take a little break, and then when we come back, I'm making some fresh pasta and egg fettuccine, and with some delicious shrimp to go with it. So don't go anywhere. It's winter made summer today on Let's Cook. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Let's Cook, where now we're going to make a little bit of pasta. Now, normally when you make pasta, you would take a work surface here. You would put your, and this is 100% semolina flour I'm using, you make a well with the semolina flour. Put your egg, your oil, your water in the middle, and stir it with a spoon. That's a beautiful thing, but I've never gone to some place where they sell fresh pasta that they're actually making it by hand. Usually they're not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my flour into my Cuisinart. I'm putting 1 egg and 2 egg yolks. Putting a splash of water, a drizzle of olive oil, maybe about a tablespoon of olive oil. That's just going to enrich it. This is really an egg pasta. You know, fresh pasta usually contains eggs. Just going to put this on and let this start to knead together. If it gets too tight, then we can add a little water to it. If it's too loose, we can always add a little flour to it. But you can see how it's starting to ball up in the machine right now. So the machine is really doing all the kneading for me. So now this comes together. Beautiful. Show you what this looks like. It's absolutely great. Put this right onto my work surface right here. And I have a beautiful pasta there. Now when I go to work this, I will use regular flour. And I'll just press this down, because the gluten in this really hasn't developed as thoroughly as it could. Then I'll take a piece, let's say about half of this right now. I'll take this piece here. With this piece right here, I'm going to cover it with plastic wrap or even a towel. That'll prevent it from forming a skin. Now we're going to run it through the pasta machine now. 1995, here's my pasta machine. If you're making this at home, you're not going to be making that much. We'll take this, and we'll just feed this through the pasta machine. Now, what I'll do a couple of times, once I feed it through this way, is I'll take it and I'll fold it, and I'll fold it again. Even this piece that fell off here. We'll just fold this together, press this. This is almost like kneading it. We're really developing the dough. And again, this is going to be like a tagliatelle or a fettuccine. It's not going to be that thin. A lot of times when I make it, if I want the pasta to be very thin, I won't do that. I will use less egg, because the egg actually contains fat, and it'll reduce the strength or the development of the gluten. But you see how we just keep folding this, and I haven't even changed the thickness yet on my pasta machine. Just keep going, rolling this through this way. Now I don't know if you know this, I'm a very left-handed person, and this machine is really made for a right-handed person because it's not meant to come out this side, it's meant to come out this side. So I just have to keep, it's kind of a little awkward. So if you're left-handed and you find a left-handed pasta machine, please email me and let me know. I'm sure they're out there somewhere. Okay, now, look at the consistency of this. See how nice and smooth this is? It's absolutely gorgeous. Now, I'll take this. I'm going to flour this on both sides now before I run it through any further. This is going to ensure that it doesn't stick to the machine. I'm actually going to take this and cut this piece down too because it'll be too long. I'm going to make my pasta a little thinner here now and run this through again. Make it a little thinner. Run it through a second time. Now, once I start to see where the flour is totally absorbent into the pasta, like it is here, then I'll take this and I'll actually add a little bit more flour to it. Now, once I have it this way, and we can see, let's take a look at these two sheets because these two pieces were the same. So you can see how I took this piece of pasta right here and I made it about 3 times the length of that. So it's a third as thick as this piece is right here. This will cook up in about a minute. It'll be terrific. When I go to cut it, if you don't have a pizza cutter, you don't have a pasta cutter, you can take it like this. Make sure you flour it well. And you can just kind of roll it up this way. And then ever so gingerly with a very sharp knife, cut it to the thickness you like. See how easy that is? Then we just take these, and before they can stick together, you need to break them up a little bit. You can hold this in a refrigerator, it'll cook great. This is only going to take about a minute to cook. I have some highly salted water here. I'm going to put a little bit more, and that's going to make sure that I have salt in my pasta. I'm going to drop my fettuccine or tagliatelle in there. This is going to take about a minute. We're going to take a little break, and then when we come back, you're going to see how I make this delicious shrimp with a sweet chili sauce to go with this wonderful fettuccine. Don't go anywhere. It's winter gone summer. Hi, welcome back to Let's Cook, where now we're doing some spicy Sweetwater prawns. So the first thing I'm going to do, get my pan nice and hot, put a little bit of oil in there. I'm using safflower because I like the lightness of the safflower. It also has a nice high smoke point, but if you want, use peanut oil, use olive oil. You could use all-purpose oil. You could use vegetable oil. You could use walnut oil. Any type of oil you want to use, as long as it's hot enough where you can sear the shrimp. Now, or the prawns, Sweetwater prawns. Let's take a look at this right here, because you can tell with the Sweetwater prawn, you see how big it is, how thin it is here, and how large it is here. These also take a little longer to cook. Now, the easiest way to clean these is actually to take, I find, if I go 1 or 2, 3 locations in here, I kind of pinch this and I bring it around this way, I get the first section off right here. Then if I come over here and I do the rest of it, I can pull this off. Then once I get to the tail section, this comes right off with all the legs and everything intact. This is also great for sauce. This is very good for sauce. So put that on the side over here. The next thing we have to do, we're going to check, and the reason I took it all the way off down here is you're going to be surprised, because right here you'll notice in the prawn here there's no digestive tract. However, when we get further down into it, especially towards the end here, there is some digestive tract, so we need to make sure we remove that. And these are great. These are about 9 to a pound, so these are a little large, so I'm actually going to take these and I'm splitting these in half. So just take these prawns, we're just going to split them in half. That'll speed up the cooking time too. So I have 1, 2, and this way, if you also want to make sure that it's going to go a little longer, last a little longer, you can do that too. So we'll just split these in half. But that knife is just too small. Sometimes we need a little larger knife. Sound effects work too very well. See? Just make sure that you're careful when you're doing it. You don't want to cut yourself with the shrimp. Now, you'll notice my pan is nice and hot here. I'm going to take the shrimp now. I'm going to drop them right into the pan. We're just going to start to move these shrimp around a little bit. They're going to cook relatively quickly. Remember, we made the fettuccine to go with this? Now, I have a little bit of green chili paste here. So we're just going to add a little bit of green chili paste here. So cook that with the shrimp. That's going to, that you have the sweet water prawns. Now you have the spice of the green chili paste, and this smells out of this world. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of water to this. Just a splash of water, just to finish cooking these shrimp a little bit. I would normally, or could, finish them in the oven too. But I just want a little bit of water in here to make sure that they cook all the way through. We'll now take our shrimp and we're going to remove our shrimp. These are almost all done. Beautiful. Oh. Now you'll notice that this way the paste did not burn, but the water has almost totally evaporated. Now we're going to make our sauce. To make the sauce, I'm going to put some slivered garlic in there. Oh. Cook the slivered garlic just a little bit here. Bring that flavor out. You don't want any color on that. Then I'm going to add some soy sauce. To equal amount to the soy sauce, I'm adding rice wine vinegar. Just a little bit here now. Oh, out of this world. We're going to let this cook down by almost half. Vinegar always gets me every time. Now, we're going to lightly thicken this. Have some cornstarch here. I'm going to add water to the cornstarch. This is what you would call a slurry. We'll take and we'll dissolve the cornstarch entirely so it's above the consistency of, excuse me, I'm sorry, the vinegar is still getting me here. So it's about the consistency of whole milk right here. If you dilute this too much, let's say you add a lot of water to this, you're going to end up diluting the flavor of your sauce. You don't want to do that. Now, I'm looking at how much liquid I have there. I'm going to add just a little bit more water to this. A little bit of lemon juice there as well. Beautiful. Now we're going to thicken this. Just pour a little bit in there. Now, beautiful. See how quickly that thickened up? Now, that's just thick enough where it's going to coat the pasta very nicely. So, I'm going to drop my pasta in there that I cooked before, and then I'll still have the pasta water right here. I'm just going to take a little bit of this pasta water and add this to this, just to loosen that up. Doesn't that look great? Then, we return our shrimp to this. Let that start to just all come together now. Out of this world. What a great summer dish. You know, because in the summer we need things that are spicy. We need them to be hot. It helps to thin out our blood. Out of this world. Now, to present this, I'm going to use a white plate. I'm also going to take a few spring onions or chives, and I'm going to cut them on a bias. I just have to make sure that I have a spot on my cutting board where I did not do the shrimp. So this is nice and clean over here. Never touch the shrimp. Let me wash my knife here, because we have about a minute left in show, so I think I have time to show you how to finish this nicely. A little bit of scallion here. We're going to cut this on a bias. This goes right into the salad right here. Beautiful. This is now good to go. Now when you serve this, you can serve this as a hot dish in the summer, but you can also take this dish, you can make the shrimp, you can make the sauce, you can make the pasta, and you could also serve it cold. It would be absolutely delicious. You know, in the summer, you can make very hearty things that are really going to stick to your ribs, because you feel like in the winter you can eat that way, but in the summer you can take the same thing you do in the winter, just lighten it up a little bit, eat a little bit less, it'll be just as good. That's how you can take winter and turn it into summer. Thank you for watching Let's Cook Today. You have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.